Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely, because this is not just another speech. This is a wake-up call. Life isn't waiting for you to figure it out. It's happening right now. And the truth is this: every single thing you desire, every dream you've tucked away, every vision you've dared to imagine, it's already inside you, waiting to be brought to life. If you can picture it, you can live it. That's not just a catchy line. It's a law of human potential. Think about it. Everything you see around you, this building, these lights, every invention was first just a thought in someone's mind. Somebody pictured it before it became reality. They dared to hold the image long enough, strong enough to make it real. But here's the problem: most people stop at the picture. They daydream, they imagine, they hope, and then they let fear, doubt, and excuses steal it away. They tell themselves, it's not for me. I don't have the resources. I don't have the connections. I'm not lucky enough. And guess what? If that's the picture they keep seeing, that's the life they'll keep living. But you, right here, right now, you get to decide. You get to choose whether your picture becomes a prison or a passport. You can either lock yourself in the cycle of limitation, or you can break free and step into the future you've been holding in your mind. The mind doesn't know the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's real. When you picture something with total clarity, with intensity, with emotion, your nervous system lights up as if it's already happening. That's why visualization isn't just some nice exercise. It's training. It's rehearsal. It's conditioning your mind and body to recognize, to expect, and to create the reality you've been dreaming of. But vision without action is hallucination. You have to take that picture and step toward it every single day. Align your actions with your vision. Live in a way that says, this isn't someday, it's today. When you do that, life bends in your direction. Opportunities appear. People show up. Resources find their way to you. Why? Because you finally decided to stop just seeing the picture and start living it. So here's the question: what are you picturing? What images are dominating your mind? Because those pictures are not innocent. They're not neutral. They are the blueprint of your destiny. If you're picturing failure, you'll feel it. If you're picturing fear, you'll live in it. But if you're picturing possibility, if you're picturing strength, if you're picturing a life on fire with meaning, you'll start to create it. The greatest power you have is the ability to choose your vision. To build it so clear, so strong, so compelling that it pulls you forward when motivation fades. Because willpower will get tired, but vision has gravity. It drags you toward it, even on the days when you feel like quitting. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop leaving your life up to chance. Right now, close your eyes for a moment. Picture the life you truly want, the energy, the health, the relationships, the abundance, the freedom. Picture it with such intensity that you can feel it in your bones. And then make yourself a promise. I will no longer just see this picture. I will live it. I will breathe it. I will act on it until it becomes my reality. Because you don't get what you want. You get what you picture, what you believe, and what you consistently move toward. If you can picture it, you can live it. And the time to start is now. Your vision is the blueprint of your destiny. What you picture shapes what you create. And this is the foundation of every achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation in human history. Think about it. Before a skyscraper was built, before an airplane ever lifted off the ground, before electricity powered cities, someone had to see it first in their mind's eye. The blueprint always comes before the building. The vision always comes before the reality. And the same principle applies to your life. The images you consistently hold in your mind are not just idle daydreams. They are instructions to your subconscious. They are the plans you are handing over to your body, your decisions, and your behaviors to construct in the physical world. When you wake up every day with no clear vision, your life falls into randomness. You drift, you react, you wait for circumstances to shape you. But when you have a vision, you suddenly gain direction. You know where you're going, you know what matters, and you know what doesn't. Vision is not just about dreaming, It is about creating a framework for your destiny, a structure that tells you where to channel your energy, your focus, and your actions. Without vision, people perish not because they lack ability, but because they lack clarity. They have no picture of what they are moving toward, so they stay stuck in cycles of repetition. The truth is, you cannot create what you cannot see. If you have no mental picture of success, no vivid image of what you want to become, then your brain has nothing to aim for. It will default to old habits, old limitations, old stories. But when you begin to craft a picture in your mind so real, so detailed, and so alive, your nervous system responds. Your body begins to act in accordance with what your mind sees. That's why elite athletes rehearse their performances mentally, and that's why leaders visualize outcomes before they step onto the stage. That's why people who transform their lives always start with an image of what could be before it becomes what is. And let's be honest, you already know this works because you've lived it on both ends. When you constantly picture failure, when you rehearse worst case scenarios, when you see yourself stumbling or losing, doesn't it affect how you show up? Your energy drops, your confidence fades, and you attract exactly what you feared. But when you dare to hold a picture of strength, of winning, of breaking through, your posture changes, your decisions sharpen, and suddenly doors open. It's not magic, it's focus. It's the power of vision acting as your internal compass, guiding you toward the life you are picturing. Your vision is also magnetic. It doesn't just affect you, it affects the world around you. When you are clear on your vision, people feel it. They sense the conviction, they sense the direction, they sense that you are going somewhere and they want to be part of it. Opportunities flow to those who carry vision because vision creates certainty and certainty is attractive. Nobody follows a leader who is confused. Nobody invests in someone who has no plan. Nobody believes in a person who doesn't even believe in their own future. But when your vision is vivid, when you can communicate it and live it, others line up to help make it real. And yet, here's the trap most people fall into. They settle for small visions because they are afraid of disappointment. They shrink their imagination to match their current resources, their current circumstances, their current limitations. But vision was never meant to be limited by your present conditions. Vision is supposed to be bigger than your reality because its purpose is to pull you into growth. If your vision doesn't scare you a little, if it doesn't stretch you, it's not a vision, it's just a memory recycled. A true vision makes you uncomfortable because it shows you who you could be, not just who you are. That discomfort is the invitation. That's the signal that you are tapping into the blueprint of your destiny. Because your destiny is not about staying the same. It's about expansion. It's about becoming more. It's about breaking through the ceilings you once thought were unbreakable. Every time you raise the standard of your vision, you raise the standard of your destiny. Every time you enlarge the picture of what's possible, you enlarge the life you will live. But vision is not just a one-time exercise, it's a daily discipline. Every single day you are either feeding your vision or starving it. You're either reminding yourself of the picture you're building or you're allowing distractions to erase it. The world is constantly pulling your attention in 1,000 directions, filling your mind with images of fear, scarcity, limitation, and doubt. If you don't guard your vision, those outside pictures will overwrite your inner blueprint. That's why you must revisit your vision every day, breathe life into it, see it clearly, feel it deeply, and refuse to let go of it until it becomes your reality. Your vision must also be specific. Vague pictures create vague results. If your vision is just, I want to be successful, what does that even mean? Success is not a picture, it's a fog. But if your vision is, I see myself standing in my new home. I see the details of the walls, the color of the furniture, the feeling of freedom in my chest as I pay for it without stress. That is specific. That gives your mind a target. The more vivid, detailed, and emotionally charged your vision is, the stronger its pull on your life. This is why journaling, vision boards, affirmations, and mental rehearsal are not just feel-good activities, they are tools to reinforce the blueprint of your destiny. They help you cement the image so deeply that it becomes part of your identity. And when something becomes part of your identity, you will fight to protect it. You will act in alignment with it. You will reject anything that contradicts it. Now, that's the ultimate power of vision. It rewires not just what you want, but who you are becoming. So if your life right now feels stuck, small, or uninspiring, it's not because you're broken. It's because your vision is. You're still looking at old pictures, faded pictures, limiting pictures. Tear them down and create new ones. And decide what future you are willing to live in. And then build the picture of it so strong that your destiny has no choice but to follow the design. The mind doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. What you visualize with emotion becomes your truth. And this is one of the most powerful discoveries about human potential. Your brain is like a movie projector, constantly playing images, and your nervous system responds as though every scene were happening in real time. When you vividly imagine something, when you see it clearly, and when you attach strong emotion to it, your body, your heart rate, your breathing, your energy respond exactly as if it were happening in front of you. That's why worry and fear can paralyze people, because they imagine worst case scenarios so vividly that their body believes the danger is already here. And that's also why athletes, performers, leaders, and visionaries harness visualization to prepare themselves for success before they ever step into the arena. Imagine a runner at the starting line. Long before the race begins, she closes her eyes and runs it in her mind. She feels her muscles contracting. She hears the crowd. She sees herself crossing the finish line. She experiences the emotion of victory before it even occurs. By the time the actual race starts, her brain and body have rehearsed it so many times that it feels inevitable. She has conditioned herself to believe it is already done. This is not superstition. It is science. Neurological studies show that when you imagine lifting your arm or running a sprint, the same areas of the brain light up as if you were physically doing it. The brain codes imagine experiences almost identically to real ones, which means that every time you picture yourself succeeding with intensity, you are wiring your brain for success. The danger, of course, is that the reverse is also true. If you constantly imagine failure, rejection, loss, or pain, your body rehearses that reality too. You prime yourself for defeat, you expect setbacks, you sabotage opportunities because in your mind you've already lived the failure. Most people don't realize this is happening. They think they're being cautious or realistic, but in truth, they are writing the script of their lives by rehearsing fear. The mind doesn't know the difference between an imagined fear and a real threat, so it floods the body with stress, tension, and hesitation. And when you live in that state long enough, you begin to attract the very outcomes you feared because your decisions are shaped by the reality you keep imagining. But here is where your power lies. You can choose what movie you play in your mind. You can direct your imagination toward the life you want to live instead of the life you are afraid of living. You can feed your mind images of strength, confidence, abundance, and joy, and your body will begin to align with those images. When you visualize with enough emotion, you trick your brain into believing that success is not just possible, it is normal. And once your brain believes something is normal, you begin to act in ways that bring it into reality. This is why children believe without hesitation. When they imagine being astronauts, superheroes, or inventors, they throw themselves into it with total immersion. They don't question whether it's possible, they embody it. As adults, we've been conditioned to stop imagining, to label it as daydreaming or fantasy, but the truth is imagination is the workshop of creation. Everything great begins in that space where your mind rehearses a new possibility until it becomes a belief. And beliefs shape reality. The key is emotion. If you visualize mechanically without feeling, your brain registers it as empty data. But when you imagine with passion, when you feel the excitement, the pride, and the relief, the gratitude of already having achieved your vision, you accelerate the wiring process. The emotional charge makes the picture stick. That's why athletes who visualize with full sensory detail perform better than those who simply think about the motion. They engage sight, sound, touch, and emotion until their body is primed. You can do the same with your goals. Don't just picture the promotion. Feel what it will be like walking into the office with confidence. Don't just imagine the business. Feel the energy of customers being impacted, money flowing, lives being changed. Don't just think about being healthy. Imagine running with energy, feeling light, looking in the mirror with pride. When your vision is soaked in emotion, it becomes fuel. And you don't have to wait years to see the results. Visualization can change your state instantly. If you're nervous before a presentation, close your eyes and picture yourself speaking with clarity. Hear the audience applauding. Feel the relief of finishing strong. Do it vividly enough, and your body calms, your posture straightens, your voice strengthens. If you're anxious about a challenge, rehearse yourself overcoming it, and your brain shifts from fear to readiness. In that moment, you are no longer reacting to your old conditioning. You are programming new possibilities. Most people underestimate how powerful daily visualization is because they think results should be instant in the external world. But visualization is about planting seeds in the internal world first. Every time you picture and feel your desired outcome, you water that seed. You strengthen the neural pathways that make that reality familiar to your brain. Over time, what was once a dream becomes your default expectation, and your external results eventually catch up to your internal blueprint. Think about people you admire who seem unstoppable. They are not necessarily smarter or more talented, but they live in a mental movie where they are already successful. They see themselves as capable, and they feel the emotions of winning long before the finish line, and they carry that energy into every action. That's why setbacks don't crush them. Their inner reality is stronger than outer obstacles. They've trained themselves to believe through visualization that their success is inevitable. And this is where you have to ask yourself, what are you visualizing every day? Are you rehearsing your future success or reliving your past failures? Are you picturing the life you want or replaying the limitations you fear? Because whichever movie you run most often becomes the life you step into. The mind doesn't care whether it's imagination or reality. It just follows the dominant picture. Which means you must take control of what that picture is. The practice doesn't need to be complicated. Take a few minutes each morning or before you sleep to close your eyes and run the movie of your desired future. See it with clarity, play it with intensity, attach emotions to it, until you feel it in your body. Let it become so real in your mind that when you open your eyes, the world feels like it is catching up to what you've already seen. Over time, this creates alignment between thought, emotion, and action, and alignment creates results. The most extraordinary thing about this principle is that it levels the playing field. You don't need to be the strongest, the richest, or the most connected to start creating change. You need to master the images in your mind. You need to decide that if your brain cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality, then you will feed it the imagination that serves you. You will no longer let fear write your story. You will no longer let worry rehearse your future. You will no longer let doubt hijack your destiny. You will choose to see what you want until it becomes what you live. Vision without action is hallucination. Clarity must be matched with consistent steps. And this is where so many people get stuck because they confuse dreaming with doing. They create beautiful pictures in their minds. They talk about their goals. They get excited about possibilities. But when it comes to taking the actual steps that bring those visions into reality, they hesitate, they delay, or they stop altogether. The vision is the spark. It's the blueprint. It's the fuel. But without action, it remains nothing more than a fantasy. The universe does not reward wishful thinking, it rewards aligned action. Think about it this way: an architect can design the most incredible house on paper with every detail mapped out, but unless bricks are laid, cement is poured, and wood is cut, the house never exists. A vision board on your wall is not going to change your life by itself. Looking at inspiring quotes or imagining success won't change your reality unless you back those images with daily behaviors that move you closer to what you've seen in your mind. The law of creation is clear. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Clarity is powerful, but clarity without momentum becomes a trap. People can get addicted to planning, mapping, and imagining because it feels good. It gives the illusion of progress, but in reality, nothing changes until something is done. You can meditate on success, you can journal about it, you can dream about it, but if you don't translate that clarity into consistent steps, you're living in hallucination. This is why so many people set New Year's resolutions, visualize them vividly, and then find themselves in the same place a year later. They had the vision, but not the discipline, the excitement, but not the execution, the clarity, but not the commitment to act daily. Every dream requires a price to be paid in effort. Vision gives you the destination, but action builds the road. Each small step you take is a brick in that road, and the more consistent you are, the clearer the path becomes. It's not about waiting for the perfect plan. It's about moving forward with what you have and refining along the way. Too many people wait for conditions to be ideal before they act, and because conditions are never perfect, they never start. The truth is that clarity becomes sharper through movement. Action creates feedback, feedback creates learning, and learning creates progress. Think of a child learning to walk. The vision of walking is there. The child sees others doing it, feels the urge to stand, imagines moving forward. But that vision alone won't make the child walk. Falling, standing again, taking small shaky steps. Those actions are what turn vision into reality. Adults forget this lesson. They believe that falling means failure, so they never take the first step. But in reality, falling is part of the action process, the way forward to mastery. The child does not sit down and hallucinate about walking. The child takes action until walking becomes natural. Action is also what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Everyone has dreams, everyone has visions, but the achievers are the ones who are willing to turn discomfort into discipline, who are willing to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term fulfillment. They don't just hold the vision in their mind, they put it into their calendar, into their schedule, into their behavior. They build systems that force their dreams into daily practice. They act even when they don't feel like it, because they know that action is not about emotion, it's about commitment. Clarity must always be matched with consistent steps. If you know you want to build a business, then every day you must take a step, research, and connect with someone, create something, test an idea. If you want to transform your health, every day you must move your body, fuel it with the right food, and push yourself past excuses. If you want to improve relationships, every day you must show up with presence, communication, and love. It's not about massive leaps once in a while. It's about consistent, small actions over time that compound into transformation. Another trap people fall into is perfectionism. They have a vision and they want every step to be flawless before they move. But perfectionism is procrastination dressed in disguise. You don't need perfect action, you need consistent action. Progress beats perfection every time. The most successful people in any field are not the ones who started with all the answers. They are the ones who started messy, learned fast, and kept moving. They let action refine them. They understood that clarity doesn't demand perfection, it demands persistence. When you commit to action, something incredible happens. You begin to build momentum. Momentum is a force of its own. At first, the steps may feel heavy, awkward, or unrewarding, but once you've acted consistently long enough, momentum carries you forward with less resistance. Action breeds confidence, and confidence breeds more action. Suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes natural, because the habit of acting has rewired your identity. You no longer just see yourself as someone with a dream. You see yourself as someone who does what they say, someone who follows through, someone who executes. And here's the truth: the gap between vision and reality is discipline. Discipline is the bridge you walk every day. Discipline is not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it's what transforms hallucination into manifestation. Without discipline, vision fades. With discipline, vision comes alive. Every single person you admire who has achieved greatness has matched their vision with relentless action, often in the dark when no one was watching, often when motivation was gone, often when failure was louder than success. But they acted anyway. Consistency is the secret ingredient. Anyone can take action once or twice when they're motivated. The real difference maker is who keeps taking action day after day when no results are visible yet, because results lag behind effort. The tree doesn't grow the day you plant the seed, but if you water it daily, sunlight and time do their work. Your vision is the seed. Your actions are the water. Your discipline is the sunlight. Time rewards those who don't quit watering their vision. So the question is not whether you have a vision. The question is whether you are willing to take the steps required to honor it. Vision without action will leave you frustrated because you'll feel the potential inside you, but never see it expressed in the world. That gap creates pain, a sense of living beneath your capacity. But when you back your vision with consistent steps, when you turn clarity into behavior, when you refuse to just dream and instead decide to do, you experience the fulfillment of aligning thought and action, desire and discipline, imagination and reality. A compelling vision pulls you forward even when motivation fades. Build it so strong it becomes unavoidable. And this is one of the most powerful truths about human achievement, because motivation is fleeting. It rises and falls like waves. But vision, when it is clear and compelling, acts like gravity, pulling you forward no matter how heavy life feels. Everyone has experienced the spark of motivation, those days when energy is high, when you feel unstoppable, when you say to yourself that this time will be different, but inevitably those feelings fade because motivations and emotions are temporary. If you rely only on motivation, you will quit when the excitement is gone. But if you have a vision that is so strong it burns into your identity, you don't need to push yourself every day, because the vision itself pulls you. It becomes a force stronger than any excuse. When your vision is compelling, you no longer debate whether to act because the action feels inevitable. Think about someone training for a marathon. If their vision is simply to run once in a while, their motivation will disappear on the first rainy morning. But if their vision is to cross the finish line, to hear the crowd, to prove to themselves they can do it, that vision pulls them out of bed, rain or shine, because they are not just running, they are living inside that vision. A compelling vision changes the way you interpret struggle, because suddenly the pain of the present is outweighed by the pull of the future. The early mornings, the setbacks, the failures all become fuel because they are connected to something bigger than temporary discomfort. This is why clarity matters so much. If your vision is vague, if it's weak, it cannot pull you when you are tired. It cannot carry you when you feel like quitting. But when your vision is detailed, alive, emotional, and so deeply rooted that you can see it, smell it, feel it, then it becomes unavoidable. It becomes the standard you refuse to compromise on. People who achieve great things are not necessarily the most talented or the most disciplined. They are often the ones who built a vision so strong that quitting was no longer an option. Their vision became a non-negotiable part of who they were, so every action, every choice, every decision was naturally aligned with it. A compelling vision also reshapes your identity. When you commit to a vision long enough, it stops being about what you do and starts being about who you are. If your vision is to be a great leader and you hold it in your mind so consistently, you begin to embody it. You act, speak, and think like a leader even before the external world recognizes you as one. That identity shift is powerful because we will always fight to stay consistent with who we believe we are. When you make your vision part of your identity, your actions become automatic because you no longer need motivation to remind you. You live it by default. The beauty of vision is that it acts like a magnet for opportunities and people. When you live with a compelling vision, others feel it. They sense your conviction. They see your energy. They hear the certainty in your voice, and they are drawn to it. People want to be around someone who knows where they are going because certainty is rare and magnetic. Opportunities align themselves with clarity, and life seems to open doors that were invisible before. But this is not luck. This is the effect of a vision pulling you forward so strongly that your thoughts, words, and actions radiate alignment. You can test this in your own life. Think about the times you were most productive, most energized, most fulfilled. Chances are it wasn't because you were endlessly motivated, but because you were connected to something bigger than the task itself. Maybe it was a project that mattered to you. Maybe it was a goal that symbolized freedom. Maybe it was a dream you'd been carrying for years. In those moments, you weren't dragging yourself forward. You were being pulled by the vision of what could be. That is the power you need to harness intentionally to build a vision so compelling that it becomes the force you lean on when motivation vanishes. And let's be honest, there will be days when everything in you says stop. There will be mornings when the alarm goes off and your body screams for comfort. There will be setbacks, failures, and disappointments that tempt you to give up. On those days, motivation will not save you. Willpower will not be enough. But a compelling vision will whisper to you that the pain is temporary, the struggle is necessary, the goal is worth it, and that whisper will be louder than the excuses. It will pull you forward step by step, even when your mind and body want to quit. A compelling vision also eliminates distraction. When you know exactly where you're going, it's easy to say no to what doesn't serve you. Every opportunity, every request, every temptation gets measured against your vision. If it doesn't align, it doesn't belong. This focus is what allows people to achieve extraordinary results in a world full of noise. Without vision, you chase everything and accomplish nothing. With vision, you ignore the distractions and devote yourself fully to what matters. That single-minded focus is what turns average effort into unstoppable momentum. Another hidden gift of vision is that it sustains you through seasons of invisibility. There will be times when you are working hard and nobody notices, and when progress is slow, when the results don't match the effort. Most people quit in that invisible season because they don't see immediate rewards. But if your vision is compelling enough, you keep going because you're not living for applause. You're living for the picture you see in your mind. You understand that the harvest always comes later than the planting, so you keep watering, you keep showing up, you keep pushing because you know the vision will manifest in time. And here's what makes vision unstoppable. Once it truly takes root in your heart and mind, it becomes unbearable not to pursue it. The pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. You can no longer tolerate living beneath what you've pictured. That's when vision turns into destiny. It becomes so clear, so magnetic, so compelling that you can't imagine not living it. It becomes a fire that keeps burning, even when the winds of discouragement blow, even when others doubt you, even when results are slow to appear. The vision becomes your anchor and your engine at the same time, holding you steady and pulling you forward. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.